What's going on, everyone? Hunter Doyle here from Philly Insider Podcast. Welcome back to another trade video. I took a little bit of a break during the All-Star break for these, but now we're going to be really getting a lot more out as the trade deadline will come up much quicker than some of us would like it to. But with that said, we're talking about Arizona Diamondbacks starting pitcher Merrill Kelly today. I did a video on him last year, and honestly, my opinion has only improved of him since then. Right now, he's 33 years old. He is under contract for 2023 and 2024. With a 2025 club option and a $1 million buyout for that year, potentially. He's making $5.25 million this year and then $8 million the next 2 years. So by the numbers, he's started 19 games this year, 110 and a third innings pitched. He has a 9-5 record, a 3.26 ERA, 1.21 WHIP, 89 strikeouts, 3.31 FIP, a 2.35 batting average against, and a 2.0 WAR. In his last 4 starts, I think this is important to mention, he's 3-0 with a 2.05 ERA, a .91 WHIP, 1.89 batting average against, 18 strikeouts, and averaging just over 6 innings per start. He had a great couple of starts going into the All-Star break, and really upping his potential trade value if the Diamondbacks choose to kind of have a fire sale. We'll see what happens and what their perspective of where they're at is. Pitch arsenal: 93 mile an hour fastball, 89 mile an hour changeup, 91 mile an hour cutter, 92 mile an hour sinker, and 82 mile an hour curve. A lot of guys have a lot of pitches to throw. Some will have 5 or 6, but he commands all these very well and he mixes them very well. It's rare to see guys who can use all 5 pitches effectively. He's definitely kind of one of those guys who's under the radar in terms of doing that. He's having a lot of success forcing weak contact. He's a ground ball pitcher, but he does it a lot with his changeup and cutter. Not so much the ground balls on the cutter, actually drawing a lot of fly balls in that cutter. That's another thing I want to mention is some of the other pitchers who I've looked at, their cutter gets hit around quite a bit. With Merrill Kelly, it's not the case. He's able to draw a lot of outs on it. Changeup has kind of been his ground ball pitch, low and away to lefties, down and into righties. He gets some nice horizontal movement on it too, I'm surprised, and gets 2.1 inches above average and 2.9 inches of vertical movement above average. I like how his changeup moves. His sinker can get hit around, but that's kind of the case with a lot of pitchers, and he's been doing a better job of commanding it this year. And also, last year it was his second pitch. This year it is used as his 4th or 5th pitch, and he's relying more on that changeup cutter combo, which has given him a lot more success. And I think with that sinker, something that needs to be noted is you'll see flashes of that backdoor sinker that Aaron Nola has perfected. Fastball command's been good this year too. Like I said, he's a ground ball pitcher, so 44.5% ground ball percentage, 30th in the MLB. He's not up there with like a Brad Keller, but still draws a lot. 10th lowest sweep spot percentage at 29.9%. His ERA has not risen above 3.7 at any point this season, and he only has 2 starts in which he's gone less than 5 innings. This is what we were looking for at the deadline last year. This year with Eflin's injury, we're kind of looking for something similar. And maybe a guy to slot in that number 3 spot behind Wheeler or Nola if we can get someone like Kelly. He's gone 6 innings or more in 12 of his 19 starts, 10 quality starts in 19 of those tries. And he really just gets better as the game goes on. In the 5th inning, he has a 210 batting average against. 6th inning, that goes down to 196. And then 7th inning, it goes up to 227. But again, 227, I mean, we're talking about a marginal difference here. And he actually struggles more in the 1st and 2nd inning. So 282 batting average against in the 1st, 320 batting average against in the 2nd inning. So it's really just getting through that first couple times through the order there, and then getting kind of into a feel as the rest of the game goes on, getting into a rhythm. Does a really good job of that. I think that's an important quality to have. If we can just get him over the hump of those first couple innings, he'll really be locked in. Only allowed 6 home runs the entire season, 7th in the MLB in home runs per 9 innings at a .518 rate. Walk rate is a bit high, 2.94. That's the highest of his career. He's also allowed 25 doubles this year, which is the 9th most in the league. So that walk rate combined with the fact that he's giving up a decent amount of extra base hits, that could be an issue down the road, especially he's not the youngest guy. He's more of a command pitcher. That's definitely something I'm a little bit worried about, but so far it hasn't been a problem, and he's been able to induce ground balls or just get the fly ball with that cutter and get out of innings. And overall, he's just been efficient the entire season, so I got to give him his credit there. He just seems to be a player who's almost getting better with age. You know, some guys are late bloomers, and I think that's definitely Kelly, who only came up to the majors, I believe in 2019 was his first season, only 4 years ago. So he's about 28, 29 when he first got called up. Now he's having a career year. The age is definitely a concern because he's on contract for 2 more years, and that $1 million buyout is nice in 2025, but if he doesn't pitch well over the next 2 years, it wouldn't be tough to move off of him, but it's definitely not an ideal situation to be in with that contract. So a rental or someone with control in just 2023 might make sense if we're talking about someone at 33 years old, but I'm personally willing to take that risk because, you know, you look at some of the bigger names like Luis Castillo, Frankie Montes, Martin Perez, they'd be awesome. I would love landing any of those guys. I don't think it's impossible, but I think a sleeper like Kelly is someone you should probably more so keep an eye on. I think that's more likely out of those names. Like I said, he'd be the bona fide number 3 behind Wheeler or Nola. I prefer to go a bit bigger if we're going to take on that many years of control, especially with his age. But again, with how many buyers are out there, the haul that might be required for the other names, Kelly might make more sense. And I'm not sure if the Dbacks will deal him. That's kind of, we'll see what happens with that. But I think it would make sense if he's on the table, see what the offer is, and he might be kind of that sleeper pick to go with here. And I would like it. I think he's going to pitch well. I don't think his age is going to be a problem because he's not a guy that's relying a ton on his velocity or anything. He's relying on his movement. He's relying on his command. And I think that's going to suit him well going into the latter years of his career. So I would love it. I liked it last year. I like it even more this year. Price might rise just because it is a big buyer's market, I think, this year. And I think there's going to be other teams who, if he becomes available, they'll definitely look into it with, you know, a lot of the big name teams will probably go after Castillo and Montes and those guys. So I'm interested to see what happens. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Thank you all for watching. God bless as always, and we will see y'all later. Ring the bell.